Hello guys, I'm Futureal. I stream 5 days a week or on twitch.tv/Futureal, and in this video we are revisiting the Project Diablo 2 Season 4 beta servers, and we are testing the early game builds where we can farm where we are strongest. It's quite important to know where the build you have chosen is able to farm when you're starting to reach level 80, maybe 85, you have beaten the game and you want to start magic fighting. Where do you go? Well, that's what we're going to try to find out. And in this video, we are testing out the Druid. We're going to test out 3 builds. It is the Summon Druid, of course. As for the ranged build, we are going to do the Fire build. I would say that the Wind build kind of translates into the same as Fire. I think either of them you can apply the results from this video to. And we're also going to test one of the melee builds. I hope you will like this video, and if you do, leave your comment down below with what you want to see next, give me a subscription, and until the next video, take care, and I will see you soon. So, it is time for the first of 3 Druid builds. As you see, as always in these early game tests, we are doing them mercenary less, no mercenary. Simply because there are a lot of people that are unfamiliar with the game, they are unexperienced, and maybe they don't have the gear or the mechanical skill to keep their mercenaries alive. And I want to show that you don't need to have a mercenary in all situations, and if you do have the mercenary, it's of course very easy to apply the fact that your build will be stronger than the one that I'm showing right here. The builds that I'm showing are quite low geared. We are around level 80 on all these builds, and we can take a look at the gear first. Nothing on swap, of course. We are playing a Spirit, Ancient's Pledge, random 1 skill amulet. We have Lore, Stealth, some FCR gloves with res, 2 FCR rings, no, 1 FCR ring, pardon me. 1 ring with just 2 resistances, double res on the belt, and we have double res on the boots. The inventory is pretty much what you could imagine that you would have after you have reached level 80 and beaten the game. We have just some random stuff, life, some poison res, light res, life and mana, some hit recovery, and pretty much just garbage across the board. And the build is quite simple. 1 point in gust, nothing in shape, max the main summons, and dump in Heart of the Wolverine. So this is an early game build. Later on, when you get higher levels, better gear, I would eventually recommend to have enough points in Gust to have the 0.5 second teleport. But for now, we're going to be happy to just have teleport at all. So I do summon all my creatures right here, and let's go. My prediction is that this is going to be fairly smooth, because obviously you have all these creatures tanking for you, and you can just focus on resummoning anything that dies. So yes, it's very, very smooth. Nothing very difficult going on here, but this is, of course, it's a summoning character in this early stages. The damage isn't fantastic, but you're very safe. Super safe, and you have no problem pulling these packs with elites, with champions. Everything is gonna be just fine, and the summons will take care of everything for you. So you just stand back, watch them cleave everything down, particularly the bears. They do splash damage, so they're quite strong. And the only thing you need to do is keep resummoning the ravens. So this is it's very, very nice. It's not the fastest build by any means, but this is definitely doable. And of course, you can imagine having a mercenary with Might Aura here would be quite the buff. So for me, saying, how simple this build is, how safe it is, the fact that we can do this without having a mercenary. For cows, I would say the Summon Druid is easily a 7 out of 10. Easily, for me. Super easy build to play. It also very, very safe, particularly for hardcore. And this is just yeah, it takes a minute. It does. It's not super high DPS, but it doesn't need to be. It really doesn't need to be, because they deal with it. And this is very, very chill. No stress. This plays very similarly as a summoning necromancer. But yeah, 7 out of 10. Even a sharkskin belt. That's Mavina's. 7 out of 10 for cows for me for the summon druid build. Solid build. Not the fastest, but gets the job done and will be even more powerful with a okay mercenary, an Act 5 mercenary with might. So let's check out how we are doing in Trav. So we're in Travincal and recast our shields. We can just teleport here. This is probably gonna be a little rough. There's a lot of stuff here to clear out. So let's do that. Trying to just put the units on top of everything here. It's a very, very crowded, very crowded Trav. Normally it's not this crowded, but you know, we're gonna have to deal with that. It's gonna have to deal with that. And as in cows, just super safe, super solid, not the fastest, but it gets the job done. Even got a rare ring over here. So for the level of convenience this build is, how simple this build is to play, and how easy it clears, I would say for Travincal, this is. Let's not go too hard here. Let's go 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 for Travincal. Very, very strong summon druid in this place, and very, very safe, particularly for hardcore, of course, and a super solid character to play in a group. Greetings. Okay, we have arrived in Chaos. Just quickly teleported myself to Diablo with using an Enigma here. You know, obviously you wouldn't do that, but to showcase what we're doing, we are gonna go on the Sace side. He's usually the toughest of them, and let's just bunch these guys. Oh wait, let me map the Gust, but put these where they are supposed to be. So this is, it's echoing Chaos, it's echoing Travincal. It's just super, super solid. No risk whatsoever. You're standing in the back, talking to your chat, having lunch, being on the phone with your partner, it doesn't matter. This build is very laid back, very, very easy to play. It's a super, super good build for like entry level into Diablo 2. If you have a friend or a partner that is trying to start playing the game, this is a very, very good build because it's so safe. Particularly if said person wants to play hardcore. So yeah, you're just gonna go through the motions here. The wave of death, even without the mercenary, this wave of death is just gonna culminate in beating up everything. And you can imagine that if you have a functioning might mercenary, this damage is gonna be multiplied by quite a bit. So for me, in Chaos, I would say putting heavy emphasis on safety and not so much emphasis on clear speed. I would say this is an 8 out of 10. Very, very strong build for this historically quite difficult area. But with the summon druid, it's just a walk in the park. And you know, the most difficult wave, the Sace wave, telestomp him after you kill the wave, it is just game over for this dungeon. Yeah, absolutely fantastic build for early game. because it's so safe. I cannot praise this build enough. I do have quite a bit of experience on this build. I played this build in the first season of Project Diablo 2, and if you want to take a look at the gear that I had at the end of the season, that is available on my Twitch account. And let's go to the cows. Now, before that, let me show you what we have changed. We can open the cow level here, and let me show you what we have changed. The gear is exactly the same. We haven't changed anything with the gear. We're still running at the 68 FCR, so the 70 cast rate total, 68 FCR breakpoint. And we have exactly the same gear as for the Summon Druid build that you have just seen. And we chose to go with the lore. I know that many people probably will find a Druid helmet here at this point, but it's unlikely that you're going to find a Druid helmet with, for instance, Fissure, which is the main damage spell that you have. So we chose to go with the lore, and if you have anything better, that's great. Then you will do a little bit better than I do in this guide, and continue to do it mercenary less, of course. So let's head over there. We're going to summon our Oak Sage, and we're going to summon our Bear. Here is the build. Nothing in shape. Summoning, we have 1 in Bear and 1 in Oak Sage. Elemental, 1 in Gust. Max Armageddon, Max Fissure, Max Molten Boulder, Max Firestorm, and then we're dumping in a Volcano. You will obviously be able to max this Volcano with higher levels. So let's check out the cow level and see how it goes. So as you can see here, the Fire Druid is he's getting the job done. So this would probably be, as you can... Oh, we have a elite here. All right. Magic resistant elite. And we forgot to cast Armageddon. That's not good. So let's kill this with Molten Boulder. It does have a physical damage element in Molten Boulder, making it so much easier to clear these. Alright, let's do that without screwing up. And as you can see, the build works just fine. The thing is with the Fire Druid that you pretty much confine yourself to this area, because the other areas that we have been talking about in many of my guides is, of course, Travincal, which is exceptionally good for runes, but also Chaos Sanctuary. But Chaos Sanctuary and Travincal, they are both heavy on fire resist. So this is what I meant when I said before, we're gonna do things a little bit differently on the Druid here. As you can see, we are doing quite well in the cow level with a Fire Druid. Let me just do a quick another pull over here, and you guys can see for yourselves. The damage is quite nice, even with terrible gear. So you should not have any problems dealing with the cow level with a Fire Druid, and this is also without a Mercenary. So the Mercenary will, of course, help you a lot, and I think that almost regardless of what gear you have, considering what we have shown earlier in this guide, the cow level should easily be a 6 to 7 out of 10 for the Fire Druid. Now, I mentioned it a few seconds ago, Fire Druid is going to be almost inefficient or ineffective at Trav and at Chaos, simply because there's too many fire immunes. So I'm actually going to do the different thing here from the other builds. I'm going to respec to Wind to show you real quick how the Wind Druid would fare. Alright, we have respect. We have exactly the same gear. Plus 3 skills, the rest is just random rares and a couple of rune words here. The build is now nothing in shape. Elemental, we have 1 point in Gust. We have Hurricane, Tornado Twister, and Arctic Blast. On the summoning, I have 1 point in Grizzly, and then we dump everything in the Oak Sage. So I have my Sage and my Spirit out. No, my Bear and my Spirit out. And we are still mercenary-less. Up with this, and let's go see how we can do. I'm going to start with the Twister. And Twister is, as you can see, not the best AoE spell. But it does get the job done, you know, moderately. I do think, though, that for the low gear level that we have, you're probably better off with spamming Tornado. The Tornado is just more... It's just more efficient at the bad gear levels. It does get the job done a lot better. There's a 5-socket Cryptic Axe, for those who were wondering if you could get a Obedience on day 1. That was the first Hell Cow pull. So yeah, this build, I would say that it's slightly worse than the Fire build for particularly cows. And I think that if you do plan to play Fire Druid, you're probably going to confine yourself to the cow level. As we mentioned earlier in the guide, there are too many immunities in other areas. We do have some amplified damage going on there. That's not so great. But we're still doing it. Kite this around and just take it down. You're going to run into that situation, so you're going to have to learn to deal with amplified damage. Alright, not bad. That thing is goner. So, yeah, I would say the Fire Druid is probably better than the Wind Druid here in the cows. The only issue with the Fire Druid is that you do confine yourself to the cows, because he is very, very inefficient at both Travincal and Chaos. But we're going to take this Wind build to both Trav and Chaos, and I'm going to show you how Wind does in those areas. Alright, Wind Trav. As I said before, we do juggle between Tornado and Twister over here, but I feel like at this bad gear as we have now, Twister is not really efficient, and particularly for these units that we are about to kill here. They have a lot of health, they do have some resistances, so I would try my best to hit these down with Tornado. So let's see how this goes. This should be doable without too much trouble. I'm just going to try to pull these backwards a little bit. Definitely don't want to pull them all at the same time. So when the bear dies, or actually just before the bear dies, you want to try to summon a new one. So as you can see, definitely get the job done. This would be completely undoable on the Fire Druid. Absolutely undoable. Because he is so susceptible to fire resistance, of course, until you have Infinity. So if you want to farm Trav, if you want to farm a little bit more diverse areas, I think that the Wind Druid is probably the one to go for. Oh, we had a close call there. Oh, it happens. But yeah. I would say Fire Druid in Trav is probably a 1 out of 10, if not a 0. You would need an extremely strong mercenary with either Infinity or very high physical damage if you want to farm Trav with a Fire Druid. The same goes for Chaos. So that's a 1 out of 10 in the early game. Absolutely undoable. And if you want to play Fire Druid, stick to the cow level until you have your Infinity. And if you want to farm a more diverse form of areas, you have seen it now. He's 6 out of 10 in cows. I would say he's also probably 6 out of 10 in Trav. And we're going to take a quick run in Chaos now, and you will see how he does there.
Greetings.
Alright, we arrived in Chaos. Let's try Twister again. And Twister here seems a lot better, because these targets have significantly less health than both Cows and Travincal. So Twister is much better here than it is in the other 2 areas. So you see it's not overwhelming yet with only +3 skills, but it does get the job done. So I do like the Wind Druid in this area, absolutely, and he also deals with these lower health monsters like the Doom Knights and the Ghosts. It just has a little bit of issue with these Venom Lords. So if you swap to Tornado on the Venom Lords, you're gonna be a little bit more successful, I would say. Excuse me, guys. All right, let's go for the seal, and let's see if we can just plow these down with Twister. And goes to show, we actually can. Twister, pretty good. Deals also with the Sace. This is also, again, very important for me to point out. We are mercenary-less. We have no mercenary to help us. This is actually one of the better builds that I have tried in Chaos Sanctuary. I would say that as is, with 3+ skills, this is the only plus skills we have. We are level 80, we have garbage gear across the board. This is a 8 out of 10 without a mercenary. If you can put this build in Chaos with a mercenary, this is going to be a 9 out of 10. It's going to be one of the best builds to clear Chaos. I'm very impressed with the early game Wind Druid. But that's going to be it for the Wind Druid, and we are going to try one of the melee builds. So we have Respect. We chose to go for the Fireclaw Wear. With help of my chat, as I am not very experienced with this build, we're going to test how this looks on a low gear level. We have 1 point in Grizzly and Oak Sage. You can choose to skip this if you don't want it, but I choose to go with that. In Shapeshift, we have 1 point in Werebear. Increasing this was told to me by the chat. It doesn't really do anything more than give you defense, and we don't really care about that. We max Lysanthropy, and we max Fireclaws, which is going to be our main attack. In Elemental, we use the Armageddon, of course. That's going to be able to be cast while you're in bear form. Next synergy is Molten Boulder, as you can see from here. We have Lysanthropy here, Molten Boulder, Armageddon, and then we dump the remainder of the points in the Firestorm. And seeing the levels here, what we have, the plus skills, and the level we have, this build is actually, you can max it out with getting 20 hard points in Firestorm. So let's summon our creatures. I can spawn them from bear form, as you can see. And let's go. We can also cast Armageddon in bear form, and let's see what happens. Oh, this is Conviction over here. That's kind of nasty. Try to not get surrounded. That's a bad trick. But this Conviction guy was rough. Oh, the bear absolutely slaps. But he did not like getting faced with conviction, I can tell you that for free. So as long as we can find one of these and line up some DPS, we're all good. We're all good. But he doesn't have the survivability in the early game to actually tank this. It's too much for him. So you can see here we're just getting slapped. So we have to be very careful. So we need to kite this to get it out. I want to try how this works with a sensible pull, because this pull was just way too big. Okay, so a little bit better now. Stand and tank a little there. But yeah, as you can see, this is probably a very, very tough build to play early on. It seems like he is quite dependent on gear. You know, even though we don't really have any gear right now, it's pretty much a glass cannon, it feels like. I would say this does feel like a glass cannon right now. Very high damage, but also very, very squishy. So there we are. Just grab that rejuve and that healing potion, and we're good to go. So this is a more sensible pack. You see here, we just get slapped. This build early on, compared to the other Druid builds, it's a no-go. He is very, very cool. Hits super fast. No block, no FHR, no armor. Like you simply don't have the defensives with early game gear and level 80 to go to the cows. And obviously, this is fire damage. You're not gonna be viable to be in Trav or Chaos either. So this is a 1 out of 10 for the cows. It's probably possible to do it. But it would take too long. Running in circles, kiting with Armageddon, pulling 3 or 4 cows. I'm not saying that this build is necessarily bad at a high level. I think this is a very, very good build at give him 10 more levels, 15 more levels, and invest 50 high runes in him. He's gonna be super, super strong. But at a budget level, Fire Druid is a no-go. This is a 1 out of 10 with bad gear. So thank you guys for checking out this Druid video. This is the 4th video in the series, I think, and we have 3 classes left, and we're gonna get into those in the days to come. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, make sure that you subscribe and you leave a comment down below with what you want to see. Thank you so much for watching the video, and until the next time, take care, and I will see you then.